Dubai, a cultural beacon in the Middle East and one of the most impressive and extravagant cities in the world. Fast cars, luxurious living, and the tallest man-made structure on the planet define this desert oasis.
Coming into this tournament was something a bit unique because Dubai is a dream location to go at, so it's half vacations and half focus on the tournament because it's obviously enormous prize pool and we're going to fight hard for it, but we're definitely looking to enjoy the city, walk around, try to have some activities and explore what Dubai has to offer.
But this week it's all about Counter-Strike. 8 of the best CS teams from around the world have traveled here to Games 15, the Middle East's largest gaming expo. Now, they will compete for their share of the $250,000 prize pool. With the towering Dubai skyline above them, this is the ESL ESEA Invitational.
And now it is time for our first matchup here, live on the stage. We have a live audience who are incredibly loud, and they're going to be watching Virtus.Pro up against EnVyUS, the French versus the Polish, and it's going to be one hell of a spectacle. We know it's going to be on cash. We have had that found out for us, and we're going to be talking about the map a little later on. First, I want to focus on the teams in general. Let's talk about current form, gentlemen, and let's start with, I mean, we kind of touched a whole lot on Virtus.Pro, so let's kind of finish down that path, and then we'll come to the team Envy. So first question to you, Halvor, is with Virtus.Pro, it has to be said, good form, getting that semi-final win, having a bit of a turmoil over at the most recent event they were at. But coming into this one, how is their form looking in your opinion?
I think they're in okay shape. I think one of the cool things about how they've been playing is obviously we mentioned Neo, how he's been progressing and playing better and better, but I also think Taz is getting kind of overlooked as someone who has definitely improved their performance in the last couple of months. So for me, Virtus.Pro are in a pretty good place. If it's good enough to beat Envy, I'm not that sure. But no, they're definitely you know, in contention here to make it through to the bracket place.
So I mean, one of the really weird things about VP as a team is the fact that they keep switching their in-game leader around, and these days it's Taz doing the calling, as it was at the major tournament. And it used to be, and we talked to Taz about this, and he said, well, if I do the leading for more than a couple of weeks, the team is going to end up hating me, and then, you know, we'll have to pick someone else to do it instead. But actually, he also said recently, maybe that stage is kind of over with. I mean, they could still switch it around, but it seems like everyone has sort of gotten used to Taz being the way that he is. I think he gets a little bit frustrated, a little bit upset if people don't execute the way he wants them to do. And he says it, he just tells people, you know, this wasn't okay, you didn't do this well enough. So, but I think the whole team is sort of, they've been together so long now, even the newcomers, as it were, that I think they're in a good position to deal with almost anything. I think they're on a really good form as well.
So you say deal with almost anything. Talking of that anything, it's Envy who are standing in their way, and they're a team who, again, I mean, there's no denying, have looked in some of the best shape since this roster switch up. We've seen them picking up incredible results. And coming here now to Dubai, they flew over, they've had some time to adjust. Is this going to be more of an uphill struggle for Virtus.Pro? Are these guys looking top-notch for the French?
For me, this is going to be an uphill struggle for Virtus.Pro. But that's just because Envy is Envy. That's really what it is. And especially after seeing the swap where we had Kenny and Apex joining you know, the 3 remaining EnVyUS players, they've had a kind of bit of a revival in the sense of how they played, especially Apex. And to me, going into Cash, that's normally a map where Apex does crazy stuff. So I'm really excited to see how Apex is going to play here. I'm kind of expecting him to lead the charge for the French.
Now, Anders, you had a point to make, and just on top of that is, we kind of touched on Cash. Let's continue there for a second.
Yes.
Then. We'll talk about, dissect some Cash play, because in my mind, whenever we talk about Cash, whenever I look at Cash, I always thought Virtus.Pro have a very unique and pretty solid Cash. Is that not something that could play against EnVyUS, or has it been too long, too well known?
I think some of the strengths that VP have on Cash, it doesn't really matter whether or not you know that it's happening. Even if you understand it, it's still not going to be very hard to deal with. One of them is Neo playing the B bomb site, and we talked about Neo, and he's an absolute god. I actually would imagine that almost based off of where that player is, Envy would have a much easier time trying to go for the A-bomb side. I would try and plan around Neo at this point, especially if he gets an AWP in his hands. If you can destroy the CT side economy enough that he can't have that AWP, then maybe you can switch it around. But once he gets it, he's very good at covering these angles. And they also have snacks, and a lot of the executes that happen on Cash have to do with smokes, and snacks has some pretty uncanny timing. So those two factors, in my mind, are the biggest ones for VP.
Snacks and Neo for you?
For me, Taz and Neo, actually, because I've just been so impressed by how Taz has been playing lately. So I just want to see that continue, really, going up against the very best in the world.
Has it been directly linked with his performance and in-game leading with that?
Actually, that's kind of something I wanted to point out, because Taz has actually, like back in, if you go back to 2013, Taz was, probably one of the 5 best players in the world at a point. So, and that was during his in-game leading, first in-game leading period with that team. So I definitely think there could be a connection between the two, because you also, I guess, if you know what's going to happen, and if you're planning out everything for your team, you kind of know where to be and what to do in any sort of given situation. So that probably gives him a bit more calmness when he plays.
A calm Taz?
Yeah, well, as calm as Taz can be.
I was going to say, be careful what you're saying here, because he's going to step up and come over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, a calm Taz, Anders, you feeling that may be the route to success? Avoiding Neo, so this is the point you've made, avoid Neo and hope Taz is having a bad game.
I mean, if either one of the two, if Neo plus Taz or plus Snacks are going to be playing well, then any team in the world will have a really hard time playing against that combination. If all 3 play well, they can definitely beat Envy on this map, definitely. But it won't be easy no matter what.
It certainly won't be. Now, though, I think it is time for us to head over to Sean after I say a big thank you to some of the sponsors that made this event possible. Dubai Tourism, ENG, and Sennheiser all coming together to make this event the spectacle that has already began to be. Now, though, Sean is hanging out with some fans in the crowd. Let's see what they have to say.
I am indeed. And as you can see, the fans here are fantastic. They have literally been queuing up the entire day. It's hot out here. We've got wind machines to cool things down, but I can tell you these guys are absolutely ready. So if we're very nice and we squeeze in here. Sir, what's your name?
Ryan.
Ryan, where are you from?
France.
France. Now, Ryan, do you have a favorite team perhaps today?
Yes.
Who's your favorite team?
EnVyUS.
Are there any other EnVyUS fans? Definitely some EnVyUS fans in the house, and why not? They're a fantastic team. So what I'm going to ask you to do, Ryan, if you really want to help us here, is on the count of 3, everybody scream out as loud as they can, EnVyUS, and we'll get them out onto the team. So here we go. 1, 2, 3.
EnVyUS!
Anything? Are they there? Guys, we've got to make more noise. One more time. As loud as you can, Ryan, and the guys. 1, 2, 3.
EnVyUS!
I'm hoping they're coming now. And of course, Envy doesn't want to play alone. They're going to need a competitor. And of course, there comes no bigger one than who you here rooting for.
Virtus.Pro.
There you go, sir. Where are you from?
UAE.
Nice, sir. What's your name?
So,
Nice to meet you, Saud. Is this your first Counter-Strike event?
yeah.
That's pretty awesome. We're pretty excited to have you. And of course, if you're watching at home and you want to take part in, for example, a Counter-Strike event, you can, because IEM is going to San Jose. I lied. NorCal. So if you're in the San Francisco, San Jose area, you can, of course, reach out. Now, Saud, I'm going to need your help here.
Yeah.
You're going to need to call out and invite none other than Virtus.Pro.
Okay.
So perhaps, are there any other Virtus.Pro fans? Plenty of support here. This is going to be easy for you. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Virtus.Pro!
We'll give it one more go, okay? Here we go, Saud. Everybody with him. 1, 2, 3.
Virtus.Pro!
I think that's going to do it.
lot of support for both of the teams here. It looks like we're going to have a cracking game here on Cash. And before we do jump onto the action, they're going to be just getting themselves ready to jump on in. We have to continue where we left off.
Well, I mean, Alex, you were talking about this question of whether or not it's whether or not Envy will know the sort of VP setup and can they work off of that. I'm sort of wondering when the time comes when people will figure out exactly how Envy play, because their terrorist side is sort of, it follows sort of a very similar pattern on almost all maps, and it has to do with this extreme aggression. Like once the battle gets going, they can take some time setting up, but once the sort of initial spark flies, then they just don't stop. They just keep going. It feels like everyone obviously knows this, but no one has really figured out quite how to stop it yet. So I'm kind of hoping that that'll happen at one time or another. Maybe today's going to be the day where VP show us exactly how it's done.
Yeah. It's like you said, anything has an eventual end, and eventually a team is going to figure out how to play versus EnVyUS and that kind of style. And what worries me for VP is the fact that we've highlighted, Andres pointed out Neo, he's been increasingly playing better, and he's also the guy who likes them to be bomb side. And, you talked about Envy kind of just playing or basing their play around Neo, basically trying to avoid him as much as possible. And Envy, they love to do these sudden A pushes through smokes, that type of thing. And I think that can cause a lot of trouble for Virtus.Pro, and I think that's something that they have to look out for. And that's why I'm looking for Taz to be, stepping up and getting it done for VP.
Seeing if they can counter the EnVyUS barrage, because they have had this element of surprise. Someone said there, I saw a comment saying, that was like 12, 13 rushes over on that Cobblestone game. So, I mean, is that just EnVyUS being EnVyUS, they kind of try and throw something into the works, or is this how Cobble's going as well? I'm trying to work out, because that's not normal. We don't see that every day.
I think it's much more possible on Cobble than it is on Cash. It's going to be a little bit more tricky to rush every single time. It also has to do with the fact that Envy just have so many talented players that they can sort of make that work. The great thing for every other team would be if they then sort of fell down once the rushes stopped working, that then they didn't have a plan B or C, but they definitely do. And that's obviously the really sort of worrying part, that even if you figure out how to stop the rushes, there's more to come. And yeah, it'll be a really hard game for VP without a doubt. But with the right start, I think it's close. It's a close-ish game.
Yeah, so it's not a game that we can start writing off by any stretch of the imagination. No. You cannot forget just how prominent Virtus.Pro have looked as of late. And EnVyUS, is it wrong to still call them a relatively new, because of these two new additions? It's been a while now that they've kind of been playing this together. It feels like only yesterday, but it has actually been a while now that they've got that new Apex and Kenny presence in their roster.
I still think it's fair to say that they're fairly new, because obviously the swap happened right after an event, and they pretty much go, from the news is announced to a different event, and they've kind of just been on a tour of different countries playing tournaments. So there's a limit to how much they've actually had the time to practice before and really getting to gel properly. But when you have 5 individual players like that, I guess it kind of works out in any case.
You can over-practice, though, and I think that's something that hasn't always been made super clear. I think one example was over at the Major recently, where we saw one of the few teams that didn't bootcamp, that didn't put a whole lot of time into preparing for the Major, was Fnatic, and they just turned up and did what Fnatic do best. So, I mean, we've got two very kind of polar opposite teams here. You've got Virtus.Pro, who has had that kind of very core roster, albeit with a couple of changes a little further down the line, since forever. And then you've got EnVyUS, who's gone and just picked up these 2 new names, Apex and Kenny, into that roster. And they have become very comfortable there. Have they got a new structure that they otherwise didn't have?
Well, I think we have to give a lot of credit to Happy in this case as the captain of the team, bringing on these 2 people. We've all seen, I mean, especially way back in the day when Apex was playing on LDLC, and Kenny obviously has the name of an absolute superstar. So if you pick on these 2 people and say, you're going to be our star players, you're putting a lot of pressure on them, and you could end up having a really bad start in a new team with all the pressure on them. And instead, Happy has said, we don't need superstar performances, we just need consistency. We just want you to play good every game, but you don't have to get 30, 40 frags for us to win anything, and that's super smart.
Yeah, and I think that's also a nice thing for Kenny as well, being kind of, well, in a sense he is the only new guy, because as you mentioned, Happy has played with Apex, and Happy knows how to trigger Apex. Back in LDLC during Cologne, that tournament, Apex was by far the best player in the, who was playing. So Happy definitely knows how to get Apex going, and that leaves them only having to worry about Kenny, and you rarely have to worry about Kenny only getting 20 frags, but he doesn't have to get those 40 frags anymore. So that's a really good position to be in. And
I mean, Kenny's even said as much. I think actually during the Major when we talked to him, and in some of the mid-game interviews, he actually did say it's a huge weight off my mind knowing that I don't have to get all the kills for us to win. I can miss a couple of shots and it won't mean the end of the world.
And while we're on the topic of Kenny, I'd like to hear it from both of your guys' mouths, because I see all of this, and I did a frustrated tweet. I did a frustrated tweet, like, where is all this hate for Kenny S coming from? Everyone gave him so much love. He was the best stopper in the world, and then he had one bad map, almost one bad half on Cobblestone in that final, and everyone gave him buckets of abuse.
Kenny disappeared on Cobblestone, let's be honest. He really was gone entirely.
Yeah.
Which definitely was unfortunate, but considering his whole career, I think people maybe are a little bit too quick to judge that one map.
I think it's more of a case people having extreme expectations to Kenny.
Yeah.
That's really the thing, and that's, I guess, the downside of being, you know, at a time he was the best player in the world, and that's kind of the downside that follows with it. Everyone expects you to be that good all the time, every time.
Yeah. Expectations versus reality. Yeah. It's time for another 60-second break, but when we get back, we are actually going to kick off with our first game here in Dubai. The audience are ready. I know we are ready to maybe take our jackets off and get back in that air conditioning, but it's going to be great to see this one unfold. We'll be back in 60.
That's it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and we are just about getting ready to go here at the ESL ESEA Invitational, and of course, who is joining me? It is Moses, of course. ESEA, ESEL.
Yep, we got it.
ESEL, I didn't get it.
Yeah, we got it covered.
I didn't get it very well. But we are on to the first match of the tournament for us here. Of course, you guys at home have been watching the 4 of the games already, but it is going to be Envy versus VP Cash. Quickly, obviously, the guys talked a lot about this one already. Any input you've got from what they've put together?
I've wanted to see these two teams play each other since this new lineup of EnVyUS came together, because these are just two extremely aggressive teams. They just like blowing up, and it's going to be this battle of trying to stop Envy as they come through these smokes, and they run those 4-1 death squads, and they just try and overpower defenses, and it works. And Virtus.Pro does something very similar when they take sites. You know, they're very overpowering and very fast-paced and aggressive when they do it. So it's kind of these two big clashes coming together.
And both these teams, of course, you know, they were the first matches of the day, so they've had a good couple of hours to relax, sit backstage. Nice and air conditioning back there, by the way. They've been relaxing and watching the other matches play out. So, you know, I guess the only thing really coming into this one is just how well they perform. Can they live up to the hype? We'll find out, because the game is getting underway. It is going to be, I believe, a knife round start. So we'll see how this one turns out. What do we think, though? I mean, I had a good chat with VP earlier on, and Neo actually said, this is the 3rd time I've been in Dubai. And again, I'm still not really going to get a chance to look around, because they arrived last night. They came from, obviously, Gaming Paradise, jetted in straight into the matches.
Yep. Well, I think a lot of it's going to have to do, I think the analyst does a great job of bringing up Neo with that AWP, because ever since he's transitioned into that full-time role of an opper, he's been so effective, and that's kind of where we started to see this resurgence in Virtus.Pro out of a little bit of a slump. And then on Envy's side, I think NBK is playing like a beast lately. I think Apex is going to be huge. He was great in Cologne. But I think one of the biggest performers they have is NBK recently with this form that he's hit.
Yeah, he had a huge semi-final from what I recall back in Cologne, of course. Put in some huge stats. Of course, we can't also talk about Envy without Apex. You know, a lot of people were talking about when he came into the team, Kenny was the one that everybody talked about, but Apex at Cologne had a magnificent tournament. You saw the infographic come out just the other day, and, you know, it showed Apex was, I think it was the 2nd highest kills, headshot percentage was right up there, entry kills was right up there, which is obviously his job. But yeah, he really has stepped into this team very confidently. If you've obviously seen him about this event, seen him at Cologne, he's definitely got a new air of confidence about him.
Yeah, and I think Kenny, as a player, he's going to have some time where he has to adjust a little bit because he doesn't have to be that playmaker anymore. He doesn't have to go on those hard carries. So he's kind of got to readjust how he plays his game, realizing that he can just play, you know, standard fundamental. He can just get his 1 or 2 kills, and he doesn't need to explode and drop, you know, 30 bombs. So going for those kind of plays that he used to make when he was in Titan might actually be more detrimental than helpful to this EnVyUS lineup.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to go live. It is the first game of the day. For us, at least. EnVyUS versus Virtus.Pro. The pistol is underway, and immediately it's going to be a very passive approach from EnVyUS over on A side.
Yeah, this is pretty typical recently of a retake on the A bomb site and stack over towards B, but this will allow Virtus.Pro to actually get into the bomb site almost for free if Happy can't find a shot through the smoke.
Let's see if they can get through there. It's a good wall of smoke down from Virtus.Pro. We have played a hell of a lot of games on this year. I think it's 60+ professional matches. 30+ of those are offline as well. With Taz immediately, that's a good molly. That's keeping Envy completely out of sight. Bomb plant's already down, remember, and they are getting completely annihilated. Snacks comes around the corner, finds himself 2 easy headshots. That's going to be another for Taz, and EnVyUS have just been completely blockaded out of the sight. Keo trying to push in and around there with his GSP through Squeaky, but it's not going to happen. Bialy collects himself another. Kenny S, the sole man standing with just a little bit of health, and he's just going to sit back, gets himself another exit frag, actually. And that is going to be all she wrote, and he's going to back away. So very straightforward round for Virtus.Pro in the pistol.
Yeah, that Molotov helps out so much, delaying the flank coming in from Envy, but it was actually the pop flash over towards Truck side that actually wins them that round. They allow players to get aggressive. And this is the thing, these two teams, they're not going to sit back and wait for the action to find them. These are going to be the people, these players are going to want to initiate the contact. They're going to want to find their battles.
Well, at the moment, it is going to be a stack from EnVyUS, but it doesn't look like it's going to pay off for them. You can see they've gone for a 4 stack down at B site, but it is Virtus.Pro wrestling for control in the mid. And then it's going to be Pasha going through. Is he going to pop on through? I think he is. You may get a glimpse of what is awaiting for him at B site. Nobody's going to show. If you look on the minimap, you can see they're all tucked in. Nobody wants to show. Still, Virtus.Pro playing this one very cautiously.
Yeah, they're trying to stay back in this bomb site and bait Virtus.Pro towards hitting that B site and getting caught in a couple crossfires that they have set up. They want to make sure they're committing before they make contact in that B site, but Virtus.Pro working their way over towards A, they're not even going to go near that site.
MBK has to land the shots as soon as they come around the corner. He doesn't manage to get the first dink and immediately gets taken down by Bialy, and now the race is on. Envy trying to scramble back around towards A side, but Snacks is going to come around the corner. It's going to be another couple lined up for him. It's a very simple triple spray down. Well, survives with just the 1 health, and Happy, the sole man this time. It's going to be a solid round for Virtus.Pro once again.
Yeah, and this is a really good round from them because this is the key. Envy's so good on these eco rounds with these pistol force buys. We've seen it time and time again how dangerous, how many matches it's won for them. And Virtus.Pro not losing anyone so far in this round. That's beautiful. You want to manage the amount of losses you take against Envy, and this Pasha is just going to clean things up. So 2-0 and no damage done to the economy of Virtus.Pro moving forward.
It's a good start for Snacks, that's for sure. He's going to be happy with that one. I don't think he's going to got 2 easy kills in the pistol and then a very easy triple lineup for him. So immediately Virtus.Pro starting off very well here on the T side. Well, let's not rule EnVyUS out. We've got a long way to go in this matchup, that's for sure. So Pasha gets a quick glimpse, an immediate tag on towards MBK in mid there. That grenade's not going to find its target as he tries to follow it up because MBK's moved over, and again, it's another 4 stack.
3 rounds in a row, they've had 4 players over towards this B bomb site. Pistol round, they actually had only 3. There was 1 more towards connector, but either way, a lot of emphasis on the B bomb site so far for Envy, and it hasn't panned out whatsoever. This is the same exact thing out of Virtus.Pro as well.
Yeah, and MBK this time not going to find anything. Gets caught out by Pasha from mid, finishes the job, and again, it's another foot race, but Snacks is not waiting for him in the corner, but Neo certainly is. Just waiting at connector. This should be a very easy pickup for Envy. Delayed on the bomb, they do finally get it down, but Apex manages to find Neo. That's going to give them the Mac 10. If he can get out and collect it, which he cannot, because Pasha's managed to come down and keep them at bay. So Envy just going to try and back away from this one, hope they can collect anything on the way out.
Yeah, very spread out as well in this. There's Kenny falling to Snacks. He's got to be careful. 1 more hiding behind the box, but he's not even going to move any farther forward. It looks like playing a little bit passive, waiting for a peek. Keo's not obliging, though. And this will also be interesting because with all these SMGs, with all the little damage that Virtus.Pro's taken, they have so much money going into these gun rounds. They have a couple buys out of this now, 2 to 3 rounds, where even if they're losing, they're going to be able to keep buying. So they have all the utility they need. Meanwhile, on the other side, Kenny is going to have that AWP. It's a glass cannon. All he's got is a flashbang behind it and 0 kits to work with. So EnVy's got to be careful if they can. They need to stop Virtus.Pro from even planting the bomb. These retakes will have to be so quick.
Let's see how they set this one up. Is Kenny going to go for a challenge? Trying to look towards his number, see if he's going to go for that peak, but it doesn't look like Virtus.Pro want to go for the peak instead. They're stacking it out straight up. It's going to be a quick boost over the top, and he may catch some off guard. NBK is going to toss out the nade, but he's not going to be able to get anything else from it because Pasha finds him over at box, and that is mid-control once again in the hands of Virtus.Pro. Snacks a couple of shots towards his teammate there. I think he's expecting maybe someone lurking in the corner.
Right, but NBK falling so early has given Virtus.Pro complete mid-control, and now they just slow things down. They're waiting for it. They're almost able to catch one more out, but Kenny's going to get smoked out. Not a lot of opportunity. He almost does connect with that shot, but they're making their way up highway.
Apex, is he going to be able to hop up and over? That was a good flash, but he didn't look to his left. There was 2 beneath him. Happy will find 1, doesn't get the second as Taz pushes through. And now full A control for Virtus.Pro. That molly will slow down connector plate. It's down to Pasha to find them, and he's going to get himself Kenny S. That's the AWP now free and loose. Keo, the last man standing, will find Pasha. He may just be able to rescue that AWP and save it for the next round. He's going to see if he can line anything up, but it doesn't look like Taz and Bialy. They're going to chase him down too hard. That smoke is down. They kind of want to get this AWP out of his hands, though.
Yeah, not a bad idea to chase. They have so much money. They barely had any damage done to them on the eco round, so there's no reason not to chase this down. They're trying to cut off any place he can fall back. He's actually being pretty smart and staying a little bit aggressive, making sure he's not confined to just one small room to try and save. But either way, this is something that we can see this is going to be typical in this matchup. Neither of these teams are really scared of doing fast executes on the T side.
Oh, the timing there. Keo just heard him drop up and over. He's actually going to be able to hang on to this, so that's a really big play by Keo. We'll see how much it works out in their favor because the rest of the team pretty much skint, so they're not going to be able to afford too much. And of course, Virtus.Pro, look at that pool of cash. They are in a good place. Let's see if they stack it out again because obviously with the pistols, the CZs, they want to just back up Kenny.
Yeah, well, the question is, where is Kenny going to go? Because it's the only gun, he's going to go over towards B, the only gun they have in their arsenal. You want him to be the first contact, and Virtus.Pro is coming right at him.
This could work out very well if they come around that corner at the right time. He's going to tuck himself into checkers, gets a glimpse. That smoke not quite in the right place. It's going to give them the shot they possibly need. That's a good flash. Does manage to try and let loose a shot, but doesn't find its target as he backs away, back into sight, gets flashed up again. He's not able to land a shot, and now he's going to get hunted down. Happy, just tucked in the corner. That molly not quite catching him. Is nobody going to check? He gets one with the deagle. It was the bomb planter. Taz will take a second look, though, and that molly is just going to burn out Apex, force him, flush him out of the corner. NBK, the last man standing. And this is another solid round for Virtus.Pro. A 5-0 start is fantastic for them here in Dubai.
Yeah, beautiful use of utility as they execute onto that B bomb site. Kenny just wasn't comfortable. A couple flashbangs hit him at the wrong moment. One player sneaks out a little bit too wide on his angle that he's holding, and he gets taken out. But it's all because those flashbangs force him back. They force him to be a little bit more passive, and he can't land the shots.
So can they keep the momentum going? It is EnVyUS once again with the rifles. Kenny S trying to line it up. Pasha gets flashed out as he tried to get a quick push early into mid. That means he's going to have to back away. Kenny has got the whole team coming towards him, but again, he's backed away. Q in a great position this time. He's got the support from behind, so he could drop down and catch them by surprise. But Pasha's going to be the first man through. Kenny doesn't land the shot instead, but they are flashed up. But now they know his position. Now he's in trouble. Doesn't land the second chance, and they will take control of B site, and it's all on EnVyUS. And this is a risky choice for them. They haven't really got the money to push on through. Are they going to try and save, or are they going to try and push for it?
They really just need to save these guns at this point. There's very little chance at a retake here. They're going to fall back. So Envy getting a taste of their own medicine. Virtus.Pro just swarming with very aggressive plays, and Pasha can do no wrong with that headshot.
And that's definitely caused some serious problems. Happy, the last man with the rifle. They know where he is. He's just managed to make enough noise around the corner. They're going to try and tuck him out, but he does manage to get Bialy down. Can he get back into Sweetie spawn? No, Taz will find him. And Virtus.Pro finding their mark all the way through this. Great start by Pasha. You can see 10 kills already.
Yeah, this is unforgiving from Virtus.Pro. They're just piling it on at the moment.
6-0 from Taz.
Yeah, well, they're all just playing so well. These flashbangs as they enter the bomb site, they're just crushing Envy. So you're going to see a save round out of Envy or a force buy a little bit. 4 members with armor, upgraded CZs and Deagles. Haven't had much success with it so far in this matchup. This could be a turnaround, though.
Look at that speed push through from Pasha, and he's going to find himself an easy kill on towards Apex as he rushes on through with that flash. Gets out Connector, and this is going to be yet another easy round for Virtus.Pro. That would take it to 7-0. This is a magnificent start for Virtus.Pro, no doubt about it.
Well, one of the things, too, at Cologne, at the major, Virtus.Pro played some of the best Counter-Strike of every team there, and it's just unfortunate that, I mean, they met Fnatic in the semifinals, but barring that, they looked near unstoppable, and we're seeing that here as well.
And you think back to that Inferno game, I think it was, what, 14-10 they were up. They could have closed it out. That should have been the game for them, but they couldn't finish it. And they let Fnatic back in. They could easily have been in the final instead of Fnatic, no doubt. But they are 7-0 up. Can they continue on where they left off in Cologne? Or can EnVyUS actually string something together? Because it's starting to look very dangerous for them now. This is starting to become a bit of a whitewash.
Yeah, this is the round to do it. This is the best buy that EnVy's had this whole time. And Happy, actually, with the AWP instead of Kenny, brings the op over towards the A bomb site, but it's a heavy B play one more time from Virtus.Pro. And this might actually work out in their favor without the AWP defending in the B bomb site. Kenny has a lot more mobility. He could have a lot more chance of success.
Oh, that Molly's going to be perfect. It's going to catch Kenny and Kyo. You can see them boosted up. They get flashed out. Molly in the corner. They got nowhere to go. They are completely pinned. But Kyo manages to get himself a double. Kenny goes down. Kyo gets a triple. And he's stopped the attack dead in its tracks. And suddenly, Virtus.Pro are reeling. The rest of EnVyUS are back in position. And this could well be the first round for Envy. But Neo lands 2 shots. Rattles them through the smoke into CT. And would you believe they find their target? Tries to find his third. Kyo and MBK both low. But Neo has to go all the way here. Switches it up. Gets himself the AK. He knows there's one up, and he knows there's one on site, so he has the positions. He just has to play it smart. Creeps on in. That nade is going to be absolutely perfect. It's going to actually, I thought it was going to bounce to the side, but instead he managed to hook it round. 30 seconds, still no rush for him.
Yeah, he's trying to wait for any kind of aggression. He was trying to see if he can bait out a one-on-one. There's still 30 seconds left, so it almost looked like he wanted to run away, but he's going to go right back at it. He might be able to find Kyo looking the wrong way.
He drew the peek there. Kyo thought he'd gone into sight. The footsteps were a great little distraction from Neo, and now he knows the last man. He knows where MBK is. He's smoked off CT spawn. He can only peek one corner. Instead, he shows his back to him, but he just turns around and gets it down. A beautiful 4K from Neo. Picks himself up the round, and really, what should have been EnVy's.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's Neo, and this is just some of that magic he's been known for in the past. What a round to win, and Envy calls the pause. I mean, that's the round you do it on because you just got crushed. And Neo showing really good stuff there. That second op shot through the smoke bails him out, and then a beautifully played 1-on-2.
What a fantastic performance, Neo. Like you say, that double up shot through the smoke as well. Should not have been. It's one of those moments where you kick yourself. It's like, why did we both come around the corner at the same time?
Well, Kyo's got to be a little bit upset that he was looking into the bomb site, fully exposed to every other angle, trying to clear that site. Definitely, that had to have been it, just to mishears a footstep or mishears communication from his teammate and thinks he's into the bomb site.
You can see the location here. We are in the Dubai International Marina Club. There is yachts just floating, not 10 meters away from us. Some pretty big ones as well, no doubt about it.
It's nice. It's a nice view out there.
Yeah, but of course it is nighttime. Definitely cooled down. You can see there's giant air conditioning units behind the players. Almost making it cold for them, ironically.
Right.
Ironically, in those booths. I stood behind them earlier on. You can see just off to the left-hand side. But it looks like the teams are sorting themselves up. What do you say when you're 8-0 down at this point?
The thing you got, this is, I mean, the young team together, but you have to maintain your composure. You can't let yourselves, start feeling like you're down so much and try and be the hero. You want to make sure you have a plan, something to work with as a team. What are they doing? And here's the thing, there's no information for Envy because they simply can't grab it because it's so fast-paced from Virtus.Pro. Now, the last round, their closest round to success was that previous round when they had the utility to slow things down. They had the Molotovs, their own counter flashes. Everything before this, they've just been so underarmed in terms of flashbangs.
Straight up aggression once again. Look at that. They're straight into the mid. I think Apex just got a glimpse in the corner there, but he realized he's going to have to get out quickly. Flashed himself into safety. So nobody going down in the opening exchange, but that is mid-control given over to Virtus.Pro while MBK goes aggressive over on A main. Doesn't manage to find anything, but now Pasha creeping his way up Speedway. He's going to find one. Doesn't manage to get the headshot. MBK with the first kill. Is that something that could turn it around, turn it in their favors? Or will Virtus.Pro once again wrestle something from this round?
Yeah, rotation coming on. One player cheating over towards the truck. There's Taz with another, and they're entering onto the same bomb site. They're getting the bomb planted right now, but Happy's just playing right behind this smoke. They haven't discovered him quite yet. He could be the difference maker.
sitting right on top. The bomb planted right in front of him. They have no idea that he's here. They won't be expecting this one. He's going to come around, but Yali did, though. He gets himself another. It's all too easy. Virtus.Pro surely going to take this to 9-0 now. Keo, last man, just going to try and save what he can. Picks himself up an AK and runs for freedom. 9-0 Virtus.Pro. You know, I talked to Pronax about, obviously, the famous Fnatic balls that's been going on where they did turn things around amazingly well against Envy, actually, when you come to think of it, the Inferno game. And all he said is that we don't actually say anything. We just sit in silence. Everybody just collects their thoughts, gets themselves back into it. They all know what they've got to do. They're all professionals. They've all been here for so long. There's no words of motivation that are required for these players. They're all hungry to win, but they just sit in silence, and maybe that's just what Envy needed to do.
Well, they've got to do something because they're now at the point where they can no longer afford to save any rounds. They have to buy out every round. They need to put some things on the board, give themselves a chance in the second half even, any kind of a window that they can give for a mistake. And oddly enough, it's Apex holding mid alone with the CZ75, just the pistol.
It's funny because Virtus.Pro obviously were on the end of a beating on Cash from Kinguin. Oh, Kenny S is going to find Taz as he tries to sneaky peek around the corner there, and he's going to pop out, but now they know he's pinned. He's going to have to smoke himself out of this position before they try and spray him down. The bullets just trace him past him. Tucked into the corner, trying to make himself small. Snacks will find Apex as he tried to creep out and pop out of the vents there. And now with mid-control, it should be a vent straight to B. Tossing out the smoke, or will they just completely choose to go for the rope-a-dope and go over towards A site? They're backed away, so it's down to a 3v3, but you can see Kenny and Keo both low on health.
Yeah, still a lot of time to work with, though, and look at how spread out this defense from Envy is. They have no idea what's coming. One player mid, one in A, one in B, so they have no information. Two players extremely low. This is a very scary round. Virtus.Pro, they have a great chance of coming into this B bomb site, especially because it's Kenny, who only has 2 HP.
Can he do it? He's going to have to go huge on this one. Everybody's got a kit for Team Envy, so that's not the problem, but the foot race absolutely will. MBK is going to be miles away from this one. Kenny has to nail the headshot in the first couple of bullets to even have a chance at slowing down Virtus.Pro. There's the smokes, there's the next flash, but Bialy, he is quick to the draw, and he has not been missing the shots. Keo tries to push on through the smoke, but Neo again. Check him out, he is absolutely doing work. MBK, though, he managed to pull it off against Cloud9. Can he try and rescue something here against Virtus.Pro? He gets himself one, and now Bialy is only on 10 health. He's in around the back of the bomb site. This could be a big play for him, but Bialy comes around the side and finds the head of MBK. And yet again, Virtus.Pro, just as you thought they may lose a round, absolutely close it out.
Yeah, just in a little bit of a misplay there from Envy with 3 players left, and they leave Kenny alone in the B bomb site with 2 HP. His support, who could rotate over Keo, had less than 20 as well. So much low HP. That's where they need to either dedicate themselves to the bomb site, let the guy with the health advantage, you know, find a fight if it comes towards them. But they needed to set up a crossfire there, and it doesn't work out. Either way, these Virtus.Pro players are all on point, not missing their shots.
And once again, control of the mid. Absolutely Virtus.Pro, not even challenged by MV, not even going to go towards it this time. They don't get an aggressive peek. They get caught by Snacks from the side there. Nobody looking towards mid. They've just given this whole round up.
Well, this is just miscommunication from getting beat up for 10 rounds in a row, as nobody realizes MBK has no clue that mid is wide open. And one more kill for Neo there, but this bomb site is all Virtus.Pro. Happy does find one, but at this point it's not enough. 4 on 2 now for Virtus.Pro.
Gets the bomb carrier, but that smoke's about to clear, and he's going to be wide open to Bialy, who just guns him down from forklift. And now Kenny S once again trying to save out his weapon. It's going to be 11-0, ladies and gentlemen. Virtus.Pro, they are on fire.
Well, here's something beautiful that Virtus.Pro is doing. Since they're so aggressive in these early stages, they've been finding kills early on before the minute mark hits in the round even, sometimes even much quicker than that. But they have so much time to work with, so from there, once they get that kill, they can just slow things down. They can wait. They can wait for Envy to try and push up and find information. They can wait for the play that Envy is going to try and make to get back into the round, and they can just punish him for it, and they've been doing that perfectly.
It's going to have to be a mammoth T-side from Envy to try and draw themselves back into this game, because they are absolutely down and out right now. 11-4, the best they can hope for, but that will be a tough ask even at this point, I feel. So round, oh, Kenny does manage to get himself a second on the exit, but the nades come in, and Neo, once again, nobody survives in heaven from Neo.
Everything is going right for Virtus.Pro right now, and Envy is just, they don't really have much option left. So you can see him picking up some armor, upgrading those pistols that have been so dangerous in the past, but Virtus.Pro has largely neutralized all the strengths of Envy in this map.
Flying start for Virtus.Pro here. Envy forced once again just to buy up what they can. They're going to try and push on through. MBK does manage to find one while flashed up in the smoke, but look at this, it's a shooting gallery. All four of Virtus.Pro lined up waiting for him. Apex does get a little peek, but not able to land that shot, and he is the only rifle in the game, so now they know where that is. They can just try and pin him out. But look at the aggression. Look at Envy. They're sneaking around the back. It's Kenny. I think he's good with him. Oh, it doesn't matter. It was Keo. He gets found out. Did they expect Kenny, though? They heard footsteps clearly, and that's why Neo looked there. He will manage to find one. Does manage to get Neo down, but Bialy quickly there to cover, and that's been a big part of Virtus.Pro. Always got the revenge kills.
Yeah, and most of the kills are going their way anyways, but there's Apex grabbing one. Taz equalizes it, though, or takes that kill away on Apex, so 2-on-1. Beautiful call from Virtus.Pro. Once they find out that Envy's flanking B, pushing up, instead of going up mid, they just go right into the vents to an open bomb site. So happy with this op. Isn't going to be able to find Bialy in time. 12-0 now.
12-0. Massive score being posted here. 12-4 for Bialy. 4 deaths across the board, and that's really been a big part of it, Envy. They've not been getting the kills. You can see the highest person kills, 8 kills.
Well, no one on Virtus.Pro is even exploding in terms of their scoreline. Everyone's just playing really well. Everyone's hitting their shots. Outside of Neo, you really haven't seen any kind of super heroic play out of Virtus.Pro. They're just doing everything textbook, doing everything right, and it's working out for him. And now Happy's going to get aggressive in the doorway.
It might work out for him. There was one just there, but I think they heard the squeaky open, which is why we're seeing Taz slowing it down. Everybody waiting for someone to peek, and Happy could well be walking straight into a trap here. He's going to be looking, going aggressive. I think he just got a glimpse of the shoulder. Doesn't manage to land the shot. Now he needs to get the hell out of there. Taz does allow him to escape, though. But now they know there's an AWP over on A site, and MBK has been pinned out by Neo. So the A site pressure is continuing, but they have backed away. And now with that AWP in play, they're going to feel and try and put some pressure over on B. But Kenny manages to find snacks on B site.
I'm not sure Envy's gotten an AWP kill this entire map so far. These ops really haven't worked him out. So Virtus.Pro with the flashbangs have been doing a great job of pushing him back. Kenny's just going to spam the smoke, and he does find Pasha. But the entrance onto B is real, and Leo gets the first pick.
Oh, and Kenny's going to try and catch the cross, but Bialy once again on them headshots. He has been on point so far when he's called for it, and Happy, as you said, have they called an AWP kill yet? He's got an AWP in his hand. He's got to try and save it once again to go 13-0. This could be a perfect half from Virtus.Pro.
Bialy, this map has had, like, this is one of those maps, every once in a while Bialy has a game where his AK is just a railgun, and he just doesn't miss. It's first bullet headshots, second bullet headshots, and this is one of those games where we just said no one's really excelling in terms of their scoreline, but Bialy's hit a couple really, really nice shots throughout this half.
Happy saw the gun turret, finally gets Neo down. Oh, and a quick one onto Taz as well. Can he get Bialy? He's just around the corner. Not going to pressure it. Doesn't manage to get it down, but 13-0. Virtus.Pro dominating the first half here in Dubai on the main stage. This is probably what they envisioned on their tiresome trip from Romania.
Yeah, they probably love this right now. This is how you get picked up when you're feeling a little exhausted after that travel, but double op now. Kenny, glass cannon once again, and again they're going towards B for him, but Neo gets the pick. He gets there first, he grabs the angle, and Kenny has no chance to do anything.
Keo all alone. I think looks like they're going to try and quicken the pace up here. He's going to maybe question the smoke there. Oh, a drop down into the flames is not going to work out for Apex. Tried to catch them by surprise, but they were ready. And he just went straight down into the firing range. Keo, though, tucked in close, will get himself one from headshot, quickly peeks around. Happy manages to get another through the smoke. Now Keo switching it to an AK, will get the spray down on Pasha. Finally, it looks like things could be turning around for EnVyUS here, but Taz, in checkers, knows exactly where MBK is. Just manages to land the shot on towards his head. And now it's down to a 2-on-2. Flash going out there. That's going to help out on Neo, who gets a little peek around the side, catches a glimpse, but doesn't manage to land the shot. Instead, comes rushing on in with a Tech 9. Of course, why not? Just switch it up. Taz does manage to find Happy in the background, and MBK taken down earlier on. Kyo, the last man. And they're actually going to smoke him out of his own sight while the bomb is making its way to A side. Kyo's going to make the long journey all the way around. 33 seconds on the clock. Neo should get the plant down. Taz not really quick enough to back him up, though.
Neo with that Tech 9 just lays his own covering fire, gets in, grabs the bomb through the smoke, but Keo might catch him, and he does. The bomb goes down, but Taz is there for the trade. Nice positioning from Taz, a good read. That had to have been so frustrating for Keo. At a 2-on-2 with the bomb down in the bomb site, and all of a sudden, bomb's gone, and they're going to the other site.
14-0. Virtus.Pro looking to close out the perfect game here. against EnVyUS. Make things absolutely fantastic for them. EnVyUS, you know, this is the finalists of Cologne. They are getting destroyed right now.
Well, funny enough, and maybe I'm going to jinx it here, but this is the map Virtus.Pro got 16-0 down by Kingwin.
Yeah. Back at DreamHack Valencia. Face it, actually, that was technically. But right now, 14-0 is a big score, and it's not one that Envy are going to like to look at because, of course, it does mean they'll go through to the decider, which will be tomorrow morning, or wherever you are in the world. It's going to be morning in Dubai, that's for sure. That, of course, would be a best of 3, but certainly a match that they would not want to play in. But at the moment, Virtus.Pro looking nailed on to be in the semi-finals, which is something they're going to be very happy for, because that will buy them a break, nonetheless. It will give them time. They will have hours upon hours to rest and relax before their match that will be kicking off at 7 p.m. tomorrow in Dubai time.
And none of these aggressive plays on the CT side for Envy have worked. And once again, another situation where Virtus.Pro has a man advantage with so much time on the clock. They can do basically whatever they want. They throw a little bit of an A-fake. It pulls the defense away, and they're quickly coming back towards this B bomb site. The rotate is on, though. Kyo's going to have help soon. They got to take care of him quickly.
Got a good flash out there. It slowed them down. They all had to delay. Does manage to find one in Checkers. Takes a peek around the side as the flash comes through, but they haven't got him down. Now he's got support coming around. It's Kenny S. He gets himself too, and quickly, this is turning straight in their favor. Taz, the last man standing. Can they finally get themselves around on the board? Or will Taz, in a 2-on-1, close it out? He just railguns Happy down. And now all on NBK. He just got him glimpse. He dropped down, but the bomb plant's going to come in from Taz. Is NBK going to rush him down here? The grenade will come through, knocks him down to 69 health, but Taz is still in a great defensive position, gets a glimpse of him, and finds the head to make it 15-0. What a fantastic first half from Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. In every situation, no matter what, no matter how much it seemed in the advantage of Envy, Virtus.Pro brings it back. It starts with Neo in that 1-on-2, which actually was with 2-on-4 at one point. He gets the 2 kills of the op, but from that clutch on, just every situation all went Virtus.Pro's way, so Envy cannot be happy about that one.
That is, yeah, I mean, like you say, every clutch went their way. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't hope for more.
No matter how dire it's on.
It was like across the board. Like Taz just had a great clutch there. Bialy had a clutch. Neo had a great clutch. Pasha went fantastically well. It all worked out in their favor. So here we go. Second half underway. 15-0. What can Envy do? I mean, it would be a miracle match right now to turn this around.
Yeah, that would be just something we probably have maybe never seen. It was a 15-0, except maybe on Nuke, but to do it on Cash here, especially with Virtus.Pro players playing the way they are, Neo's going to get into the action, and VK takes him out, so now it's Taz's turn from Highway.
Gets a little tag down, but takes a bullet for his look. Snacks does manage to find one. Bialy comes around and gets a second, and suddenly it is looking very much in Virtus.Pro's favor. They only need this round, remember. That's all that is required. Apex trying to rattle some shots through the smoke, hoping that he gets lucky, gets around, gets the rope straight on the back of him. Kyo finds himself another. Now it's all on Snacks. Gets in, gets the defuse. Apex, where is he? Is he going to get around the side? He will! And Envy finally pick up a round. But by God, it nearly went their wrong way.
Yeah, Snacks almost clutches another one there. Then 1-on-3. And if he has a kid, if he's able to play a little bit more with the clock, he probably finds that because Apex was so low. But either way, good play from Apex, like you said, wheeling his way around the forklift there. But a long way to go, and Virtus.Pro, they just want to end it. They force buy, even though they don't have to. They have the pistols, they have an SMG onto Snacks.
Just trying to speed things up here and try and maybe go for the aggressive plays that Virtus.Pro did so well. But look at Pasha, he's got himself snuck in there. I don't think they're going to expect him in this corner. They may check around there. His teammate actually rattled a couple of shots towards him, but Happy coming down will finish the job. Bialy, little peek around the side. Now with the double stack out, oh, it's not going to work out. Kyo comes around the side. Snacks not able to land the shots. And now it is all on Taz for EnVyUS' second round. Okay, that's the second. We're just going to have to count these round by round because there's no way we can get too excited about anything when they're on match point for so many rounds.
Well, that's the thing. That's EnVyUS really their only chance in this match. Take it round by round, but also you want to control the economy. So they win that second round. That's going to make the fourth round bye for Virtus.Pro weak. They're not going to have that utility. We saw Kenny S in the first half. He had to have a glass cannon AWP. They can keep those unfortunate economic situations for Virtus.Pro. That's their only avenue that they have.
Happy does manage to get caught out. He rushed through, tried to flash himself into the smoke, but Bialy was ready and waiting for him, so one pistol down. Catches the AK, so it's going to go across into towards the hands of Taz, who's going to make use of it? Apex covering off the back there. Did he catch a glimpse of the second one? He did this time. It was Pasha that was peeking. And Apex catches him down. Now byali and Taz, the last two standing. Kenny's just going to push on through that smoke as it dissipates. Gets a little glimpse around the side. byali will go down. Taz, the last man with an AK in hand, is going to get found out. And Kenny will close him down, 15-3. Now here's the real round for Virtus.Pro. This is going to be the rifle round. This is the one that counts.
And a pretty decent buy, 5 M4s across the board, so they don't go for that glass cannon AWP. No kits on their side, which is a little worrisome, but they have 4 smokes. They have 5 smokes, actually, to utilize to slow down Envy, because Envy likes to do those fast-paced strategies that we saw Virtus.Pro do basically that entire first half, but the Virtus.Pro has the utility to slow them down, to make them force into some kind of an uncomfortable situation.
The difference, though, you can see with Virtus.Pro, they fight for mid-control. 3 people pushed in there and then realized it wasn't happening, so immediately Taz switches up. Neo backs him up, rolls around towards A site, and actually B's been left pretty much deserted, so they're stacked out ready for this one. They're going to be in position at the right place, but the question is, can they land the shots? Apex does manage to get himself one. Happy gets the second. Snacks trying to get on the planter, but Happy will gun him down. And this is looking suddenly a very good round for EnVyUS, as byali and Pasha forced out of sight, forced to save.
Yeah, nothing they can do here, so Envy bully their way into that A-bomb site. Only losing 1 player. There's a third that goes down. Happy. Pasha finds him. But, I mean, this is what Envy is going to do. They're going to come through those smokes. As much as I say that Virtus.Pro has the smokes to slow them down, to make them feel uncomfortable, Envy loves going through smokes. So Virtus.Pro is going to have those Molotovs as well. And this is a map where entries are key, and the way Envy entries and trades is massive. It's beautiful.
So byali, the only man to hold on to his weapon. That's going to give the 4th round to EnVyUS. And possibly the 5th, but that match point sound is going to keep on chiming in. Round after round after round. If EnVyUS are to try and draw out something dramatic here, it only takes one little slip up and Virtus.Pro will take the game.
Yeah, and what's beyond?
Virtus.Pro can afford to buy up here anything they need. 15-7, still an incredible turnaround for EnVyUS so far. They got 7 rounds without reply.
Right, yeah, this is more than probably most people thought they were going to get in the second half, so.
Ourselves included, I think.
Yeah, and even though Happy goes for a glass cannon here with the AWP, even though he just got crushed in the last round with it, he goes right back to it. He's going to go towards the door. And there it is, slowing down the aggression with the Molotovs, making sure that boost is out, making sure Kenny can't get up quick and find a pick, and a double nade over. They timed that as the Molly leave to try and catch him out, but it doesn't do too much damage.
And you're going to go for the peek. Not able to find 1 second. Molly spread. That's going to force him away, and it's Snacks that's holding the angle with an AWP of his own this time. So switch up on who was having the AWP. It was Neo previously, who's just been gunned down by Happy. That was over on the site as Kenny Molly's out. Taz going to push up. He's going to go aggressive on Squeaky there. It's Happy that he's pushing up, and he will manage to find him. And now this is a real problem for EnVyUS. They're down to a 3-on-4, and their main positions have been found out. And that's the bomb still in play. It was in the hands of Apex, who finds Taz. But the question is, will they rotate it? Will Virtus.Pro push too heavily into it?
Yeah, this is a great read from Virtus.Pro. 2 players here, a third one cheating over towards the middle. They've left B completely open, 38 seconds on the clock. And the bomb's over indoors, so they really have no other option but to hit this bomb site eventually.
Snacks with the AWP, lining up on Squeaky. And as soon as Apex creeps around him, and he missed the shot, and Apex makes him pay for it. And now he's going to push around. Pasha gets himself another, but Kenny finally ends that quarrel. And now byali. Well, he went huge many times. He's going up against Kenny S, who spots him around the corner. He's down to 8 health. He's going to have to molly out and try and delay things. Luckily for him, the nade doesn't land, but byali makes it count. That will be game in the second the molly clears. And Virtus.Pro will take it 16-7. It was a good chance from Envy. They really pushed them, but that incredible first half, you can't come back from a 15-0.
Yeah, it's just, at this level, it's just, you don't give yourself enough chances for a mistake to happen. So basically, just Virtus.Pro had no way to lose that match. Envy had no chance at a comeback. 1 mistake and they're gone, and that time byali's able to sneak around the bomb site. Kenny didn't even realize that he hadn't gone left, and he just stays, and another clutch round for Virtus.Pro to end it.
Dominant performance from Virtus.Pro. Yeah, they've had a fantastic start to this tournament, already through to the semi-finals. It means Envy, of course, will be down to the elimination match. Who they'll be facing, we'll find out, because Cloud9 will be up against NIP in just a moment. And Well, honestly, if you look at that game, you've got to be thinking Cloud9 might take it.
Yeah, and struggling a little bit or a lot recently. We could say a lot, but even so, this is a cool cool matchup that goes way back to where Cloud9 was Team Complexity. They were fighting at majors, and Nip, and this core of this lineup has always done battle really well. But there's a lot of firepower now on Cloud9, so Nip's got to be a little bit careful.
So what do we take of it overall? We look at Virtus.Pro, of course. It was a fantastic performance then. I'm not going to take your thoughts. What I'm going to do is take Virtus.Pro's thoughts. Let's get over to Sean Charles, who's ready and waiting with them.
Thank you so much, Lee. Thank you so much indeed. And of course, Moses as well for a phenomenal commentary there. I'm joined by a man who needs little introduction, but I will do it, and I will do it with pride. Taz, well played. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Actually fine. Thank you, man.
How are you enjoying Dubai?
Oh, it's amazing. It's always amazing when we arrive to Dubai. Like, people are so nice and always smiling. So the attitude just goes to you and just feel so happy being here. So thank you guys for being with us here.
Now, obviously, this is a pretty unique stage. You've played on a lot of stages, a lot of big stages, small stages throughout your career. What's it like standing here in the heat, in Dubai, knowing there's a marina right there, there's skyscrapers right there? What's that feel like?
I think that it's exciting. It's like interesting. It's something new. It's like, I actually really like it because I hate when it's cold. And Dubai is all about hot. So it's just amazing for me.
And how is it for you as a player back there? I know that they've got big air conditioning units and everything. Is it okay? Are you comfortable?
Actually, it's like when you have this turned on. So you have cold in your back and hot in your face. So I just decided to turn it off and just go full Dubai.
Full Dubai. And I can see the fans out there that have come here to support you. Now, of course, we've got to talk a little bit about that matchup. Envy, a great team. They had a good showing at Cologne. How was this for you?
Obviously, our T side was pretty good. I mean, we won all the rounds, like even 1 against 3, so everything worked for us. It's really cool to win 15-0 against them because it brings good memories back when we beat LDLC. Hopefully, it will fit into their head. But otherwise, I'm really not happy with our CT. Like, maybe in our head, we're already, the winners, so we just need to bring it home. So we, made mistakes, but they did a pretty good comeback, like 7-0 at some point. So they're mentally very strong, and I feel that next game won't be that easy.
Well, a lot to dissect there because, of course, it was that kind of turnaround. Any words you have for the fans that have come out here for you?
Well, I hope you will come back tomorrow, guys, for us, and hopefully you'll cheer for all the games. So thank you, and remember, we love you all.
Wise words from the wonderful Taz. Let's hear some more wonderful words from the one and always beautiful Machine.
You're too kind, Sean. You're far too kind. As we are here. Thank you very much, Sean. You're far too kind. We are here back at the desk to dissect what was a little bit of a surprise, I think is fair to say, considering we went into that one, boys. Like, it's an uphill struggle for VP. Envy looking good. Of course, they're making the final of the major. They're in good form. Let's talk about Virtus.Pro T-side, Halvor, because 15-0, we don't see all too often. In fact, the last result similar to that on Cash was Virtus.Pro getting 16-0'd. So, I mean, what happened there? What on earth happened?
First off, VP had a very high tempo to how they played the T side, and they were absolutely able to, well, first off, Envy never really contested the mid area, so VP had free reign over that. But what's really surprised me was VP's effectiveness towards the B bomb site, because normally that's not the most contested bomb site you see on Cash. Normally people prefer either just going through mid towards A, like they're happy with doing that. They can get a lot of rounds from it, but VP just found something that worked. And when you see Neo out-opping Kenny, when he's given the opportunity, it just works. And we talked about, we might have needed to see either Neo, Taz, Snacks, like step it up for them to have a shot at beating Envy. Instead, it was just everyone. Everyone on VP played really, really well.
And we saw that one chance where we thought we might see a 14-1, but then Taz just throws a 1v3 into the mix. Like, that's not stuff you can predict. That's not stuff you can kind of counter, surely.
No, I mean, Taz had that 1v3. Neo had a quad kill to clutch the game as well at one of the rounds. So overall, it was just, I don't know, it was too much. We always bring up this thing about the Virtus Plow, but it was definitely on today, and there was there seemed to be no stopping them. They also had incredible way to utilize the Molotovs. They checked so many corners with it, made it very hard for enemy to try and be anywhere. Wherever they stood, there'd be grenades flying in, they'd have to move around, and VP just, they hit all the timings.
Yeah, and I also think something that was mentioned by Taz, it's not going to be that easy the next time they play, because I definitely think that was not the best showing we've seen of Envy. I mean, Apex, who I expected to do big things for his team in that map, he was completely invisible the first half. He did absolutely nothing. So he got going towards, after they swapped sides. That's nice and all, but you can't let yourself be put into that situation and still expect to come out with a victory.
So a bit of a write-off, you'd say, in your books for Envy.
You don't want to discredit VP, though.
No, I mean, but I think in terms of
EnVyUS
Envy
performance.
just have to think, look, this happens, it happens to everyone every once in a while, so let's just move on and try and do things differently. I don't think they're going to be completely killing themselves over this, but certainly it's rough when you feel like you've got no shot at all. Maybe they should have tried to take a couple of rounds where they sort of slow it down a bit and just try to see if they could get back into it, maybe like a timeout or something at some point.
I mean, you talked a little bit about Virtus.Pro's prominence on that B site on their T side, because they were just strolling into that site. And I mean, it's not, as you said, it's not something we always see. It's not something that's usually favored on that T side. So do you think that was preparation, or do you think that's just Virtus.Pro doing something a little different?
Well, I think it's a difference that is prepared from Virtus.Pro's side. I mean, and he talked about how you have anomalies on every map really, just in a game of CS. Just like VP got crushed by King 116-0 on the very same map. So they probably taken a page out of that, looked at the map over again, and figured out how to do something differently. And we talked about teams struggling to figure out what to do versus Virtus.Pro, and I think now Virtus.Pro
you accidentally straight up just dumped them.
Just being completely converted here. But that was really the case, and we had no idea what was going on really.
And I mean, I don't want to bring up the term tilt, but it's something that I think we always kind of have to touch on when we talk about Envy as a lineup. I've certainly have seen some of the individuals. Happy is the one that springs to mind, kind of conveniently named. Sometimes when things aren't going too well for his team, that can cause issues. Best of one game. That's all they've kind of struggled with so far. That's not going to be affecting too much of the later stages for EnVyUS, would you say, Anders?
No, I think if anything, I mean, some of the players, I think what happens on Envy when things start to go bad is that Happy has to convert a lot of the skills that he would use fragging. He has to convert that into sort of, doing mid-round calls and generally trying to strategize a lot more. So you see maybe like a little bit of a downscale in his skill. But they have other players. I think NBK is the most striking sort of example of that when the pressure's really on, they seem to sort of stepping up again and again and again. So I expect someone like NBK to come back in the next game and just be twice as good. He's like mentally, I think, a very strong player.
Yeah, and you talk about the next game, but the actual next game we're going to be showing is Cloud9 up against NIP. And just very quickly, guys, a quick little kind of dip our toe in the water of this matchup, and let me know what you're thinking about what's going to be coming up after the break.
Oh, I'm expecting to see the end of NIP's tournament.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go full Thorin on this since he isn't here anyway, but we've all watched the video.
Do it for him.
I definitely think that Cloud9 is going to crush NIP here. That's the prediction.
Okay, so Cloud9. So what would you have, like a kind of an American Eagle and like smash it over something or something along those lines? We could get a good visual metaphor or something to as an ode to Thorin. But no, it's been a very, very strong start from Virtus.Pro. Looking forward to seeing how the tournament unfolds for both them and EnVyUS, who fell flat with a 15-0 first half. If you missed it, though, do be sure to watch that one back. That'll be over on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ESL. For now, though, we're going to hit a break, but when we're back, it's going to be NIP up against Cloud9, and these guys doubt the Swedes.